On BBC6 Music, you're with Lauren Laverne. I'm delighted to say I am with my guest, David Byrne. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I just arrived last night and I've got a good night's sleep. I'm great.
Raring to go. Brilliant. This is great news. Well, thank you so much for joining us. There's lots to talk about, some exciting news. So you've got a new album on the way. What can you tell us about it?
What can I tell you about it? I made it. It took a little bit of time to make it. I worked with a group in New York called the Ghost Train Orchestra. They were kind of the band on a lot of the stuff. And I'd heard something else they'd done, and I approached them and said, will you be my band? And and they are a little small orchestra, so I thought, what's going to work for you. And then I approached a guy named Kid Harpoon, who's an artist, but he's become very successful as a producer.
Yeah.
And played him some of my things and said, and I want to work with this New York group of players. And he said, fine,
Fantastic.
So that was the beginning of the record.
It sounds like kind of assembling your team,
Yes.
the squad before you kind of went into it.
Yes, and the songs were all coming out, and they were still emerging as we were putting this team together. But then, yes, I wrote nothing during the pandemic. I wrote down ideas and titles of songs that I thought, there's a subject there. And so some of those got turned into songs, but I just write down a title.
Was that kind of surprising to you that you stopped writing during that time? Was it connected to the fact that the pandemic was going on, Because,
Absolutely. It was, I've never had writer's block. I've had periods where I think I've written better songs than other periods, maybe.
Right.
But I've always managed to just keep doing it. And so the fact that nothing was coming out, I thought, okay, this is a special
period,
moment.
Yeah.
And I thought, as happened with a lot of people, it's like, how do I respond to this? Mm-hmm. This is kind of bigger than the things I might normally write about, or how I'm feeling and how everybody else is feeling. And I tried to write some songs. I wrote one called 6 Feet Away about seeing someone, but you couldn't go up to them, mm-hmm. and you could barely see their face because of the masks and everything. And it had a funny line, and in it something, and she had Perel in her purse. And I sent it to a comedian friend, a guy named John Mulaney, and I sent him the lyrics, and he loved the line about she had Perel in her purse. but I thought, no, this is actually, this thing that's happening is not a joke. Mm-hmm. People are dying. This is serious.
And is that where, does this kind of take us into the title? Because during that time, you came to this, to ask yourself, well, why do I do this? Why do I have the impulse to write songs? So the title of the album is Who Is the Sky? And I think that's some of the questions, the ideas that lie behind that piece. That's what it's about, right?
Probably, yes. The title comes from, what's it called? Autocorrect or auto thing when people dictate a text.
Yeah.
Yeah, when people dictate a text into their phone and it sort of garbles it. And I got a text from a friend that's responding to something saying, and the text said, "Who is the sky?" And I thought, I think they mean something else, but I'll take it.
It's probably Who Is This Guy? It's the old Jimi Hendrix, isn't it?
Yes, Who Is This Guy?
Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Yeah. Who is, obviously they were meant to say, Who is this guy? But it came out, Who is the sky? And I thought, I like that. I'll keep that. That sounds like a good album title.
So when you came through that, what did you kind of learn about yourself? What did you realize about yourself? Kind of wondering, well, I'm sitting here and I've, for the first time, got this kind of quite substantial block, and then finding your way through it. Did you figure out, why it is that you kept going? What keeps you writing songs and making music?
It's probably for a lot of songwriters, it's obviously personal therapy, personal things that you want to. The song is like a mirror. It reflects back on you so you can sort of understand something about yourself when you start to put it into a song. It's also, for me, a way of trying to articulate the questions and any understanding I might have about other people, about the world in general and other people and what they're doing and what does that mean and why do they do that?
Well, and I think that might take us to the track that we've got to play, which is, one of the pieces from the album, Everybody Laughs. So apparently a friend of yours said to you that pointed out that you use the word everybody a lot. This idea of kind of, wondering about the world and people in general and what they do, how they live.
Yeah, so I started making a list of all the things that people do. And then I organized it into opposites, what it seemed like opposites. And somehow it all seemed very uplifting, although everything that I'm in the list is certainly not uplifting.
No.
And it did. And then as we were recording it and me doing the vocals and again doing a lot of yelps and things at the end, I knew that St. Vincent, my friend St. Vincent that I'd worked with before, basically lived around the corner from the recording studio I was in.
Handy.
Yeah, real handy. I said, Annie, do you want to come in and just have a go at this song that we're doing right now? Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Let's take a listen. This is David Byrne, the Ghost Train Orchestra. And when we get there, St. Vincent with Everybody Laughs.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and...
Everybody Laughs, brand new from my guest today, David Byrne and the Ghost Train Orchestra. Fantastic combination. What was it like listening back to that first time and kind of knowing that things were coming together on this record and that you got through this period?
Yeah, it was you can imagine this particular song. Yeah, when they hit that middle instrumental part and it just lifts up.
Yeah.
You just go, oh, this is going to work. This is going to work.
It's so joyful. I want to hear it live as well. Like, I could totally imagine that live. The problem for you, though, David, is that you've massively raised everybody's expectations with the, critically acclaimed American Utopia live show, which, eventually became a film and then it was on TV and it's, the rave reviews across the board. I mean, what are you going to do next? Because you do have some live shows coming up.
Do have live shows that'll be in the fall. And yes, I'm aware that show was fairly popular. So I'm going to keep some elements of it. The fact that we can all move around, none of us we'll all be mobile. Our entire band will be mobile. Again, yeah. I thought I'm not going back to having us be stuck in various positions on stage. But we're adding more visual elements, more people and images and all this kind of thing. So I think it'll be along some continuity, but then a lot of new stuff coming into
its own thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, I would have thought that's like a whole new playground, because you've always been an artist who is inspired by other artists and other mediums. You're like interested in visual arts, interested in film. You hear it in all of your music. So I guess to be able to bring that into the live show is even more exciting. You've always done it, but like more than ever before to kind of be free to explore.
This one, I think it might have been a performance of a dance piece by a choreographer named Pina Bausch, a German choreographer.
Famous,
and
yeah.
I saw a piece a few years ago, and there was kind of one moment in there where I just thought, I could expand on that. Just that one moment, I could take that and turn that and expand on it and make that into a whole show.
How exciting. I mean, fantastic. So obviously, as well as the new music, it's interesting that, at this time and this stage, you're sort of looking back a little bit as well, because it's the 50th anniversary of the first Talking Heads show. And in honour of that, there's been a new video created for Psycho Killer, starring the amazing
it's brilliant.
Saoirse
It's
Ronan.
really great.
It really is fantastic. Director Mike Mills behind the camera and Saoirse in front. I mean, tell me a little bit about that project. What did you want want to get from the video? Because the song didn't have a video to begin with, right? This is the first time it's
it was
had one.
before videos.
Yeah.
The song was before videos. And Mike's a great director. He had an idea of what it could be, and I looked at his idea was written out, and I thought, this is brilliant. It's not at all what you'd expect. There's no kind of scary-looking guy lurking who's going to kill someone or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's not a clown in a drain or anything.
Yes,
none of that business.
There's none of that. It's this woman doing things, the repetition in her life, and she's kind of going out of her mind with all that.
Yeah.
And he said, there's only a couple of actresses who could do this, I think, and she's the one. And she said yes.
It's so clever because it's kind of about how, like you say, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, that famous quote. But also this idea that, like, actually it is kind of, she's just going back to her office job, like day after day after day after day, and obviously hating it and having the same argument with her boyfriend. But, you can see we all get into these cycles as human beings, don't we?
Yeah, it's a brilliant video.
And tell me about that first Talking Heads show. So what do you remember about it? Supporting Ramones 50 years ago.
Supporting Ramones was,
CBGB?
We did that at CBGB's in New York. We auditioned a week or two before. And
who did you audition for the venue or for Ramones?
For the venue, for the club owner, this guy named Hilly Crystal. And some of those bands, like I think Ramones and Television, Patti Smith, were already starting to play at this bar that was originally intended to be a country and bluegrass club.
That didn't work out very well.
That did not work out. But luckily the owner, this guy Hilly, he just went with it. He went with it like, this is what the kids are doing. I'll go with this. We auditioned, and he must have thought we were okay. And we said, okay, I'll put you on. You can open for this group, the Ramones.
Fantastic.
Which we knew. And what was interesting, we were miles different than the Ramones. We liked them, but we knew that we were very, very different. Yeah. But what was great it was a kind of musical moment where all these various different kinds of things were all accepted.
Yes, so for Patti Smith and Television.
Yeah, you could like this one and this one and this one, even though musically they were completely different universes.
Yeah. And I mean, what are you interested in now? Because, coming right up to date, you are, as you say, talking about working with Kid Harpoon and the Ghost Train Orchestra on the new album. You just played the Governor's Ball in New York, collaborating with Olivia Rodrigo, and played Burning Down the House, which must have been a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. She had learned a lot of moves from Stop Making Sense.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. and so she was like, we want to do this one. Should we do this one? Should we do this one? And I go, let's see what we can do. I'm playing. Some of them I can do and play guitar at the same time, and some I can't.
Too difficult now.
Too difficult. But I thought, no, let's have a go. Let's try it.
But also that's why the younger one can take the load, surely, hopefully.
No, I thought, I've got to keep up.
Well done, you. Brilliant. And what's it like for you looking back and going through these kind of anniversaries? Are you someone who enjoys doing that, or do you prefer to be future focused, as artists generally are? They're usually looking forward.
Yeah, I'm not a very nostalgic person. It was a fun period. It was a wonderful, creative period, but I don't look back on it as if like, oh, those were the good old days, and now it's just a slog. I wish we could go back to then. No, I'm very excited about what I'm doing now. It's really exciting that these younger artists like Olivia Rodrigo are kind of inspired by things that we did ages ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty nice.
Well, listen, we're so thrilled to have you with us. Who is the Sky is coming out on the 5th of September. The single Everybody Laughs that you just heard is out today, and the UK tour starts. So it's March the 2nd is the first show at the Arena in Cardiff, running right the way through to playing 15th of March, Hammersmith Apollo in London. Very exciting, Dave.
Wow, you've got some of the dates already.
I've got all the dates, yeah. Cardiff.
Wow, okay, great.
3 dates at Hammersmith Apollo, 2 at Glasgow SEC, Manchester O2 Apollo, 2 there, over to Dublin, and a final London
My
show.
life is laid out before you there.
Exactly, I can see it. I'm looking forward to it for you. Thank you so much for joining us, Dave.
Thank you.
Cheers.